Fit in 10 Nation, it is day 45 of the Fit in 10 Challenge, and I just finished with you guys, a little while ago. In our class tonight, you guys are doing really, really good. But one thing I want to emphasize is when you're doing a deadlift, it's not a squat with the bar in front of you. Okay, I'll say it again, it's not a squat with the bar in front of you. Yes, you are squatting down, but I want to remind you that it's more of a hinging at the hips and a fair amount of bending forward with only about a 45 degree above parallel bend in the knee. Okay, so you want to think more about bending over and having the bum come back with about a quarter squat at the knee. Of course, this is much better demonstrated in person. We'll run through it again, of course. But if any of you are missing classes and you're not out and you're not seeing this, and I suggest that you come to some of the Fit in 10 classes, okay? Saturday, 10:15 a.m. and Monday evenings at 7 p.m. At least come to one of them. Or reach out to me and I'll meet with you at some point and help you, okay? I've got to set up the Calendly for the fat analysis that I'm going to do. I think I'm actually going to run it from Monday to Wednesday. I'm going to push a little bit farther into that 7th week. We are the 7th week, 8th week. And then, of course, the last one will run into the 10th week. Right, so, do I have that right? Yeah. So, yeah. So you guys will get at least, you'll get exactly 21 days between your scans. Well, I guess it depends on exactly which day you'll do the scan on, but roughly 21 days between your 3rd and 4th. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about weight training. So, I talked about this, I think about 5 days ago. So I can't remember if I talked about this point, but let me just go over it again. When you are weight training, especially with heavy loads, you are training your central nervous system. So, this is actually probably one of the most important aspects of weight training that you're going to get. Neurological strength, neuromuscular strength is a primary predictor of longevity, by the way. So when we talk about longevity, I'm not talking about living for a long time. I'm talking about living in a younger state, because this is something that you lose. We lose the ability, our reaction time goes down, our ability to produce force goes down, our strength goes down, the ability to transmit a thought to a limb, or a force command goes down. So if you continue to weight train, especially with heavy loads, you will maintain that. Okay, and if you don't weight train and you start to do it, you'll improve it. So this is something that, for untrained people, it's only the young people that have it. Okay, this starts to decline as you get older, unless you weight train with heavy force. All right, so this is one of the key predictors that they use, for example, like in the Mayo Clinic and other studies for biological age. All right, so for as a way of saying, hey, you're 80 years old, but your reaction time and your ability to produce force and the amount of force you can produce is really good. So you have all of these attributes that healthy 40-year-old has, because you've been weight training. Okay, so very, very important. Also very important for prevention of neurological diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay, that's one of the 4 horsemen, by the way. One of the 4 leading causes of death. All right, what else here? There's also evidence to show that weightlifting upregulates genetic pathways that prevent aging, that promote rebuilding of damaged tissues. that help in energy production and help with more efficient use of oxygen. So basically, again, these are all things that are going to help keep you younger. Like basically as you age, everything becomes slower and we become less efficient, and weight training turns on genes that helps to at least reverse some of these things. Okay, like the rebuilding of damaged tissues and production of energy in the body. Okay, so 5. Well, I've kind of already touched upon this. Help with work capacity, more efficient use of oxygen for endurance sports. Helps with lowering inflammation in the body, in particular C-reactive protein. I feel like I already went through this with you guys. Well, so what? Okay, I'm going through it again here. And of course, the reduction of blood pressure and arterial function. Okay, so more elastic, better elasticity of the arteries. Okay, and this is really, really important for keeping them in their role as a means of, circulating blood throughout the body, right? That's actually why movement is so important, especially after hard exercise. You still want to move around, is because your muscles do some of that pumping of the blood around the body. You don't want to make the heart just do the work. Okay, so you want to have nice, elastic, free-moving arteries as well, right? To help push that blood around. You don't want to have stiff arteries. And sorry, just coming back, that C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is an inflammatory marker that is a primary, or at least one of the primary markers for overall inflammation in the body. And weight training, not exercising, weight training in particular, lowers C-reactive protein dramatically. Okay. What else did I want to mention here? Oh, one other point I want to add to the reverse dieting that I didn't mention yesterday, which I didn't kind of really fully explain. Basically somebody asked me, well, you're making like small adjustments in energy over time. Why don't you just make big adjustments? Like, why does it have to be small? Well, it's kind of like the same thing as when you diet. You don't want to make huge changes in your metabolism because, or at least with the energy, actually, I didn't put that the right way. You don't want to make big changes in terms of the amount of energy intake that you put in, unless of course you're offsetting that with a lot of extra physical activity. Keeping your physical activity relatively consistent. You don't want to make huge adjustments with your energy intake, okay? Because with the reverse dieting, if you're adding energy in, there's only so much you can add in without the extra energy becoming stored as fat. Okay, so we've got this baseline of your resting metabolic rate. You've got a few other things that add to your overall energy output, right? So you've got your resting metabolic rate, you've got your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, you've got your exercise activity, and you've got the thermic effect of food. Though all 4 of those are the 4 things that add up to all the energy that you output for the day, okay? Now, let's put those 3 aside and just talk about resting metabolic rate, okay? Because this is the one that we can kind of move up or down. So, keeping those other 3 things relatively the same, if you add in more food, okay, well, obviously thermic effect of food will go up because you're adding more food in. But thermic effect of food will never exceed the amount of energy that you're putting in, right? Thermic effect is only a portion of the calories get burnt up from the amount of food that you put in, right? So for example, like if you're eating protein, 30% of the energy that goes into protein gets used up as, basically heat, okay? 3% of the fat, 2 to 3% of the fat energy that you eat goes towards breaking down and, metabolizing the fat. And for carbohydrates, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's around 8 to 10%. Anyways, there you go. Some little bit of information for you. But getting back to my point, So with your resting metabolic rate, there's only so much energy you can add back in before, you know, you're going to store some of the extra energy as fat. So you want to add in just a little bit. So, you know, your resting metabolic rate is whatever, it's here, okay? And if you add in too much energy, so you create too much of this gap, you know, the body's got to do something with all that extra energy, right? It's not just going to simply excrete it. So, you know, that's going to boost your resting metabolic rate somewhat. If you add food in, it's going to boost it up. But then there's still going to be that extra caloric surplus, and that's got to go somewhere, okay? So what we do is we just add a little bit, okay? And that's going to boost your RMR. And so you're going to have a little bit caloric surplus, but not really enough to cause any major, you know, accumulation of body fat in the body, okay? Man, I'm already at 11 minutes. Okay, 11 minutes. I'm ready to get food of the day here. So just think, you don't want to cause too much of an energy surplus. And listen, we have muscle tissue. This is the advantage. I'm going to talk more about this in the future. The advantage with muscle tissue is, you know, the muscle can store fatty acids. It can certainly store sugar. We know that. And you know, protein either gets converted to sugar or it's going to get excreted from the body. It's very hard to convert to sugar, and a lot of it gets excreted via urea through the body. So my point is, if you have more muscle tissue, you have more reserves for some of this energy. So if you have more muscle tissue and you add in that extra little bit, you have this reserve capacity to take in that extra energy. But, you know, obviously that muscle mass is finite. You can only throw in so much extra energy in there. So with the reverse dieting, we want to make small little adjustments so we're never accumulating fat, but we're pushing the metabolic rate up ever so much every time we increase those calories. So we increase those calories a little bit, we keep that adjustment up. We do that for a period of time so that our resting metabolic rate can increase slightly, because it will. And then once it increases more and more and more, we can add a little more food in, and we keep going in that direction. This is how, this will plateau at some point, but this is how people can get out of a situation where they've been doing low calories for a long time and they don't know where to go, because if they bump up their calories too much, they just get fat, right? This is the way people get out of that. So, but this is still the approach I take with anybody who is trying to add more calories into their diet, and this is the approach that I typically will take with people who you know, just finished the challenge and their calories are a little bit lower. Nothing crazy, of course, right? Like somebody who's taking 1,800 calories might end up at 1,550 or something by the end of the challenge. So we're not making anything crazy in terms of reduction, but enough that I don't want them to accumulate any fat, so I can still get them leaner and with adding in more calories. So I'm gonna say that again, I can still get them leaner by adding in more calories. I just have to be very strategic about it, which requires you to follow exactly what I'm telling you to do, not kind of follow it. Okay, then the system doesn't work. All right. Okay, I think I said enough there. This is already 13 minutes. I am going to end it there, you guys. Message of the day: you get back exactly what you put in. You get back exactly what you put in. So, you know, there's a lot of things in life where you can put in, and sometimes you may not get back what you put in. But with exercise and your body responding, you get exactly what you put in. So remember that. Okay? So put in the effort, you'll be happy with the response that you get. All right? All right, you guys, submit, commit, do what you have to do. Do all your workouts, plan your food, do your cardio, do everything to a T, follow the system, and you will be very, very happy. All right? I'll talk to you guys all soon. Have a wonderful evening. See you guys.